Let's try and make a pineapple-only pizza. So we'll chuck what we blended so far into a bowl here. As you saw, we had to add a little bit of flour just to dry it out, because sometimes it can be slightly drier, the dried pineapple, and other times it's slightly wetter. So it's a good consistency now. And again, this is mostly pineapple. There's a little bit of flour, slightly cheating, but yeah, mostly pineapple. So what we'll do now is we need to prepare our yeast. Obviously, we're going to be making a flour dough for the pizza. So let's do that now. So you can see it's all sort of floated to the top, all the yeast. What we've got to do now is sort of set it aside to bloom. What was important, that it wasn't refrigerated, the pineapple juice, so we actually left it out to get to room temperature, and it's slightly warm in here. So you can see it looks amazing, all floating on the top. So yeah, it's already blooming, it's starting to bloom at least. You can see it's saturating into the water. So we'll give this a while, come back to it, and mix our flour with the yeasty pineapple water. So our yeast has dissolved nicely into our pineapple juice. We're going to add it now to the blended pineapple flour combination. Beautiful. Now let's mix it together. Might need to add some more dry ingredients if it's too sticky, but we basically want quite a sticky dough. This is actually looking quite good. I think it's the right amount. I've got a bit more watery stuff as well, pineapple water. Right, we'll get this together and then we'll start kneading it. So now it's time to knead the dough. I think we're going to have to knead it for five minutes, I think, about, until it starts to come together a bit more. It's a really good consistency, and it smells really strong like pineapple. So let's give it a little old kneadio, and we'll come back when we're going to roll it out into a pizza shape. So there's our dough ball. As you can imagine, it's really, really sticky stuff. So what I did was just used a lot of flour to make sure it doesn't stick everywhere. But look, it's got that beautiful yellow color from the pineapple. So yeah, this should be really interesting. It smells very, very pineapple-y as well. It's really interesting. This should be I'm excited to try this. So what we'll do now is oil up a bowl and chuck it in, and then we'll get to making the sauce. So for the sauce, we'll keep it very simple. What we'll do is we'll just cut this pineapple, peel it, cut it into cubes, blend it, and then, and then we'll season it and spread it onto our pizza. Just season our pineapple chunks before we blend them. I'll add a bit of pepper as well. So as you can imagine, the dough is very, very sticky. I've absolutely floured the hell out of the surface here. What I'll do now is start pushing out the edges so we can get that quintessential pizza shape, which is just a circle, isn't it? So we'll start pushing the edges out. You can see it doesn't behave like a normal dough just because it's got so much, it's mostly pineapple. It tends to want to stick much easier. You've got to make sure you use loads and loads of flour on all your surfaces here, because it literally will just stick to the surfaces because it's got so much sugar in it. So we're getting there now. We're getting that sort of nice pizza shape. We won't make it too big because I'm worried if it's too thin it won't work particularly well, but I think that's pretty good there. Next we'll add our sauce. So we'll just spoon some onto the surface, just kind of get a nice, you can see it's got a good consistency. I think it's best that I could do with the pineapple because it's quite watery pineapple. Didn't realise as much. So just sort of put it around to the edges like you do with the normal pizza sauce. Pizza. I want to get some pizza, mummy. Okay, there we go. Put a bit more on for good measure. There we go. So I think that looks pretty good. Quite happy with that. Almost looks like a white cheese sauce garlic bread thing, but it's all pineapple apart from a bit of flour. Okay, now we'll add the cheese. So we'll keep it quite simple for the cheese. We're just going to use pineapple rings because I think it kind of looks a little bit cheesy-like. So we get these bad boys open. You can see. Oh, I do love me a pineapple ring. Very nice. Okay. So put that one. We'll put one to the side for later because I do love me some pineapple rings. Okay, let's put this down. So you can see we'll just put 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost like the cheese. It should caramelize when it cooks. It should be pretty nice. I'm just mindful of the fact that I don't want it too watery on there. But there we go. And what we'll do, we'll put a little bit, 1 or 2 pieces of our fresh pineapple cut onto there as well. So now we've done all that, let's throw that in the oven, and we'll get going from there. So now we're stood with the cooked pizza. I have to say it smells absolutely delicious. The pineapple comes through really strong. I would say it's slightly dry, but let's cut through this and see what it looks like. It's almost like a cake. So we'll get that slice there. So you can see it's almost got a cake consistency. So what we'll do, we'll set this up and we'll give it a little taste test. So we got a finished pizza here. I'm really excited to try this because it smells very, very sweet to start with. And I expect it almost to be like a dessert. There's obviously not many savoury things in here. They put a little bit of salt in the sauce, if you remember, and some pepper. But other than that, there's not really any savoury flavours. So I'm expecting it to be very sweet and dessert-like almost. I don't know if you ever heard of a pineapple upside-down cake, but I think it's going to be a little bit like that. So with all that being said, let's just give it a taste test and see what it's like. You can see, quickly show you. So let's see if it holds up to normal pizza. Okay. Overall, the flavour is actually really interesting. It's very heavily sweet, obviously, because there's a lot of sugar in the pineapple, the pineapple on top of the pineapple pizza, the pineapple in the sauce on the pineapple pizza. There's just lots of sugar there, so it's very sweet. But actually, it's quite nice in combination with the bready, doughy thing. We did have a little bit of flour in there, obviously to keep surfaces from sticking and just to help bind it a little bit together. But 99.9% of this is obviously pineapple. So I think the flavour that comes through the most is the pineapple, and then you do get sort of the slight caramelization from the top of the pineapple, which is actually very pleasant, and I don't mind that at all. So overall, I've really enjoyed the flavour from this, and I think it's not something I'd eat loads of. It's a bit like a dessert. You kind of want 1 or 2 slices, and then you don't necessarily, this isn't like a pizza kind of. Something about savouriness means that you can kind of eat a lot of it, but when dessert is not quite the same thing. You can't eat so much sugar. So yeah, very interesting. The texture is very close, cakey almost. Nothing like pizza dough, which maybe I just need to cook it at a higher temperature. But I think if we had done that, I think it would have just burnt because of the sugar caramelized. So it's not like normal pizza. But now we have to decide: is it good enough to try yourself and get the coveted Yum Yum award? And I think it is. I'm leaning towards yes. The main reason being, there's nothing really here that could have gone very wrong. I think overall it's just pineapple. So I mean, it's kind of a play on the idea of it. But I think overall it's a pretty decent thing. And if you're gonna have it like a dessert and less like an actual pizza, I think it gets the Yum Yum. Very cool. So we got an interesting result there. I think we're going to do a few more pizzas. I've got some other ideas planned that we can do. And again, remember on Mondays will be food related stuff. And then on Wednesdays and Fridays, we've got some other things planned. So I won't reveal too much yet. But remember, it's 6 p.m. GMT every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So tune in. So let me know what other projects you want to see me try. I'm open to sort of looking at all suggestions. So as always, hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like and a comment if you did. Subscribe for more content like this. And I hope to see you next time. Very cool.